thoughtful. In the profound silence of a vast universe, where galaxies move in an eternal dance and stars are born and die in spectacles of light, humanity has always sought answers. At the core of our being, an ancient question echoes. What awaits us in the grand finale? The word apocalypse whispers in our ears, often bringing with it an echo of fear, a shadow of final judgment. But what if this word, so intriguing, were actually an invitation, a revelation of long-forgotten truths, carefully guarded within the pages of an ancient book, now slowly unveiled, not only through faith, but also through science itself? Just as the prophet Daniel, in his divinely inspired wisdom, unveiled the veils of ancient mysteries through celestial visions and interpretations that echo to this day, modern science, armed with its own instruments of discernment, from telescopes to particle accelerators, is beginning to decipher codes once thought lost to time, revealing a surprising, almost poetic harmony between faith and evidence. This journey is not about the fear of the end, but about the fascinating pursuit of truth. It is not a harbinger of annihilation, but an immersion into the depths of knowledge that invites us to dive into the scriptures in a new and powerful way. Prepare yourself for an adventure where archaeology, astrophysics, and geology converge with prophetic words, revealing an apocalypse that is, in its purest essence, a glorious revelation of deep and eternal truths. The cosmic dance of the apocalypse is manifested in celestial alignments and ancient prophecies. The firmament, that glittering tapestry stretched above us, has since time immemorial been a divine clock, punctuated by signs that transcend human understanding. The scriptures, in passages such as Matthew 24:29 and Luke 21:25-26, describe celestial phenomena as precursors to great events, moments of transformation that would mark the course of history. There will be signs in the sun, moon, and stars, says the ancient prophecy, a prediction that modern science, through its immense observatories and complex computational models, can now foresee and analyze with an accuracy that defies imagination. Could these forgotten clues be nothing more than descriptions of astronomical phenomena we can now validate? Rare eclipses, distant supernovae, or perhaps the trails of comets slicing through the cosmos. Throughout history, ancient cultures, from the Babylonians to the Egyptians, watched the heavens with reverence, mapping celestial cycles and seeking purpose and destiny in them. We will dive into these ancient astronomical observations present in biblical texts, discussing how such knowledge may align with specific prophecies, revealing that God's calendar may, in fact, be etched in the stars. Consider the mysteries revealed by starlight, how astrophysics can help us understand passages like the darkening of the sun and moon or the falling of stars. Are these events purely symbolic, or do they have possible bases in extreme astronomical phenomena, such as volcanic ash clouds darkening the sky or distant stellar explosions? Science does not deny a greater design, it amplifies it. A deep analysis reveals the fascinating convergence between modern cosmology and biblical eschatology. When approached with an open mind, these two disciplines, seemingly worlds apart, can reveal divine grandeur behind the universe and God's plans, an awakening of understanding that invites us to a new level of divine connection. What power is revealed when we realize that what was mystery to the ancients is now a field of study for scientists, and in both cases, the hand of God is evident. Do you also feel that something greater is at play? A truth that transcends science and faith individually, uniting them in a spiritual epic. Geological upheaval manifests in earthquakes and natural disasters through a new lens. The Earth, with its ceaseless movements, seems to cry out, its prophetic groans echoing through tectonic shifts that shape our world. Prophecies of earthquakes and cataclysmic events resound in passages like Matthew 24:7, Mark 13:8, and Luke 21:11, where it is written, "There will be earthquakes in various places." Geology, with its vast understanding of seismic and volcanic activity throughout history, offers a panorama revealing patterns, almost a supernatural rhythm, that may resonate with these millennia-old descriptions. The whispers of rocks, the geological evidence of ancient catastrophes, tell stories of a turbulent past. Archaeology and geology together may present evidence of major natural disasters that shaped landscapes and civilizations, echoing biblical narratives of floods, droughts, and quakes. Consider the restoration that arises from destruction, the way nature renews itself. The planet's pulse, measured by the frequency and intensity of earthquakes and other phenomena, is constantly monitored by science. When we compare this data with biblical descriptions, we seek correlations and forgotten clues that reveal the accuracy of prophecy. How could ancient texts, without modern technology, describe geological events we now witness with such precision? Could this be a sign of divine authority over geology? When viewed through the lens of faith, deepens our appreciation for God's sovereignty over the earth. Natural cycles, eruptions, and tremors are not merely random events, but may be powerful metaphors for divine judgment and subsequent renewal. Breaking expectations. You may have always thought these calamities were mere chaos, but Scripture tells a different story, revealing a greater plan in their occurrence. This is not to frighten us, but to alert us, to invite us to break free from cycles of self-sabotage with divine grace and awareness, and to seek a guidance that transcends geological faults. Epidemics in the DNA code bring us forgotten clues about plagues and healing. From the plagues of Egypt narrated in Exodus 7-10 to other diseases mentioned in sacred pages, the impact of illnesses on human history has been profound. Modern biology and genetics offer astonishing insights into their nature, transmission, and impact. The Bible, in its timeless wisdom, describes laws of purity and health in Leviticus 11-15, demonstrating an advanced knowledge of hygiene and epidemiology long before the invention of the microscope. Could these forgotten clues be glimpses of divine wisdom in the face of human vulnerability? We will discuss the logistics and impact of epidemics in ancient times. How do biblical descriptions of famine and pestilence correlate with modern understandings of public health and pathogen evolution? Think of the complexity of immunity and spread, of the mysteries of human resistance and the rapid mutation of viruses. Clues for healing in ancient texts. Hygiene practices and quarantines mentioned in Leviticus are today validated by scientific discoveries on disease control. This is no coincidence. It's a revelation that divine connection to life and health has always been present, offering a blessing of protection and healing. The complexity of DNA, that intricate ribbon of life carrying each being's story, and humanity's vulnerability to disease, point to the need for divine intervention, for a miracle. Biblical narratives of healing and deliverance offer unwavering hope in the face of adversity. You are not alone in this battle. These stories invite us to feel a strong and undeniable connection with God, knowing He is listening, and to seek grace that transcends any diagnosis. The engineering of destruction reveals ancient weapons and the logic of final conflicts. The echoes of war resound through millennia, from biblical battles to the descriptions in Revelation 6:4, and other prophetic books like Daniel. Ancient military engineering, siege tactics, and the logistics of large armies reveal the practical basis behind epic battle narratives. Think of the impressive organization needed to build the walls of Jericho or Solomon's Temple, and how ingenious the planning was behind their destruction or defense. We will explore the forgotten clues in the descriptions of biblical cities and fortresses. Jericho, for example, with its thick walls, collapsed not by war machines, but by the sound of trumpets and shouts of faith, offering a different perspective on power. Archaeology shows evidence of a sudden collapse that scientists still attempt to explain naturally, but for faith, it is a clear manifestation of divine power. We'll discuss the weapons mentioned in the Bible and how the technology of the time shaped conflicts, from swords and shields to catapults and battering rams. This can be compared to the idea of new weapons or technologies of destruction in future prophecies, highlighting the mystery and power of the descriptions. Beyond physical battles, we'll explore the spiritual logistics of conflict, such as divine intervention manifested in unusual strategies and unexpected victories, like Gideon and his 300 men defeating a vast army. These stories remind us that it's not your past that defines you, it's your faith in God's plan, and that redemption is always within reach, even in the darkest moments of battle. Faith is what turns the impossible into a miracle. The awakening of the dead is revealed in archaeological clues of resurrection. Beyond the veil that separates life and death, archaeology can unearth beliefs and funerary practices that point to an expectation of life after death and resurrection, as seen in Job 19:26 or Isaiah 26:19. Ancient tombs, with their mysteries and rituals, reveal deep faith in eternal life, even among civilizations that lived thousands of years ago. Think of the Egyptians and their elaborate mummifications, or the Mesopotamians and their funeral rituals, all echoing belief in existence beyond the grave. We will present artifacts and discoveries that, though not directly apocalyptic, provide context for eschatological beliefs, showing how daily life was influenced by hope and fear of the future. Vessels, jewelry, and even inscriptions on tombs tell the story of people who looked beyond with expectation. What is the meaning of these forgotten clues about supernatural life? They remind us that, from the beginning, humanity has sought divine connection, a purpose that transcends time and space. We conclude this topic by connecting archaeological discoveries to faith, showing how hope in the resurrection and belief in final judgment were foundational to the lives of biblical peoples, providing a historical basis for apocalyptic prophecies. The legacy of faith, passed down from generation to generation, is a silent testimony that the past reveals the future. This not only validates the scriptures, but also offers emotional validation for those seeking renewed faith today. Thoughtful. The language of symbols invites us to decipher Revelation through semiotics and history. The Book of Revelation, Revelation 1:1, 12-20, is a mosaic of vivid and complex symbols. Semiotics, the study of signs and symbols, and history, with its power to unveil contexts, can help uncover their original meanings within the cultural and political setting of the time. The four horsemen, the beast, the lamb, each carries a weight of meaning that transcends literal reading. Ernest will address the importance of careful interpretation of prophecies, distinguishing between metaphors, allegories, and literal events. The mysterious language of Revelation can be understood through in-depth study of its literary genre and intertextual references, unveiling a revelation that is not chaotic, but orderly and profound. As it is written, "After this, you will never see the Bible the same way again." Reverent will connect historical events with prophecies, showing how empires, conflicts, and key historical figures may have fulfilled, or are yet to fulfill, elements of apocalyptic visions. The Roman Empire, its persecutions, and the resistance of the early church provide a rich backdrop for understanding the text. Revelation, as a guide for the present, is not merely a timeline of the end, but a revelation of truths about God and His plan. Offering hope and exhortation to believers in every age, it invites us to find inner peace and spiritual strength, regardless of external circumstances. Earnest, the continuous revelation of eternal truths, is the great conclusion. The real apocalypse is not just a series of future events meant to instill fear, but an ongoing revelation of God's plan for humanity, a call to action. The forgotten clues that science helps uncover are not meant to terrify us, but to strengthen our faith and the urgency of a life aligned with divine principles. They move us to establish daily rituals and practices of faith that promote emotional balance and inner connection. Profound, scientists and prophets, each with their lens of understanding, converge on the same truth. Science, far from denying faith, offers new and fascinating perspectives, deepening our understanding of God's greatness and the complexity of His creation. Just as Moses was the mediator of the Old Covenant, revealing divine law to his people, today, through the union of science and faith, we are invited to a new understanding of eternal truths, not as a fear of the end, but as a revelation of a new beginning, a spiritual awakening that draws us closer to the Creator. You still have time, but you can no longer delay your spiritual journey. The final promise resounds in our hearts. A new creation is on the horizon. It is the hope of the ultimate fulfillment of the promises, where the light of revelation becomes complete, and all uncertainty is dispelled, culminating in the manifestation of divine glory and the restoration of all things. It is the vision of a time when the great stories of the Bible come to life in an epic and thrilling way, and each of us is invited to be part of this grand destiny. God only needs one response from you. Yes, I am ready.